Hello and welcome to Raju Notes channel, your pit stop for weekly current affairs updates. The updates tailor-made for students taking all kinds of competitive exams like UPSC, civils, defense and placement interviews. Please subscribe to the channel and stay updated every Sunday. A 5-judge Constitution bench of Supreme Court has upheld the validity of the Constitution's 103rd Amendment Act of 2019, which provides for 10% economically weaker section EWS reservations amongst the general category in education and public employment this week. The law doesn't violate basic structure or equality code for taking into account economic criteria, said Justice Dinesh Maheshwari. The Indian Space Research Organization ISRO is planning to venture to Venus and is in talks with the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency JAXA for a lunar rover to explore the moon. According to the plan, a lunar lander and rover built by ISRO will be put into the orbit by Japanese rocket. ISRO is also planning to probe to Mars. Record-breaking temperatures, devastating floods, weak economies, ongoing COVID-19 infections, a ruinous war in Ukraine, and a heightened inequality. It has been quite a year and it isn't over yet. Under these circumstances, the Collins English Dictionary recently announced an entire appropriate word for the year 2022, which is called as permacrisis. The dictionary defines permacrisis as an extended period of instability and insecurity, especially resulting from a series of catastrophic events. Permacrisis was chosen from 10 words and phrases on the shortlist, 6 of which are new additions to the dictionary. Among them, splooting, the act of lying flat on one's stomach with legs stretched out; sports washing, the sponsorship or promotion of sporting event to enhance tarnished reputation; and lawfare, the use of legal proceedings to intimidate or hinder an opponent. Brave New World. Also included is the much discussed quiet quitting, when the employees only perform the functions they are contracted to do and not a jot more. India will assume presidency of the grouping of the world's 20th largest economies on December 1st, following the G20 summit hosted by Indonesia in Bali during November 15th and 16th. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday unveiled India's logo, theme and website for its presidency of the G20, which reflects the country's message and overarching priorities to the world. The G20 logo, created with 4 colors of Indian national flag, comprises of the earth sitting atop a lotus. The 7 petals in the logo signify the 7 seas and the coming together of 7 continents at G20 India 2023. The earth reflects India's pro-planet approach to life from this. It derives the theme of G20 India 2023, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, one earth, one family and one future. Addressing the event via video conferencing, Prime Minister Modi said he was glad that thousands of people shared their ideas and suggestions for G20 logo and the theme. India's G20 presidency is coming at a time of crisis and chaos in the world. The world is going through an after effects of disruptive, once in the century pandemic, conflicts and lot of economic uncertainty, he said. The symbol of lotus in the G20 logo is representation of hope in these times. No matter how adverse the circumstances, the lotus still blooms. The foreign ministers of Armenia and Azerbaijan met with US Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Washington for peace talks on Monday, only hours after fresh shootout along the troubled border. The defense ministries of both countries have traded acquisitions of opening fire. In recent months only, the conflict had cost hundreds of people their lives. A week ago, Russian President Vladimir Putin hosted a summit in which the Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan and the Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev agreed not to use force in the resolution of the conflict over Nagorno and Karabakh territory. Both Armenia and Azerbaijan are former Soviet republics. The Russia is attempting to maintain its position as the power broker between the two sides. Armenia and Azerbaijan have fought 2 wars, that is in 1991 and 2020, over the territory of Nagorno and Karabakh. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has approved the final sovereign green bonds framework of India. Green bonds are financial instruments that generate proceeds for the investment in environmentally sustainable and the climate suitable projects. This approval will further strengthen India's commitment towards its nationally determined contribution targets adopted under the Paris Agreement. It will help in attracting global and domestic investments in eligible green projects. These proceeds generated from the issuance of such bonds will be deployed in public sector projects which help in reducing carbon intensity of the economy. The ministry has constituted a Green Finance Working Committee GFWC with representations from relevant ministries and chaired by Chief Economic Advisor Government of India. The committee will meet at least twice a year to support Ministry of Finance with selection and evaluation of projects. The allocation of the proceeds will be reviewed in a time-bound manner by GWFC to ensure that the allocation of proceeds is completed within 24 months from the date of issuance. Atal Innovation Mission of Niti Aayog today launched the Women-Centric Challenges under the second edition of Atal New India Challenge ANIC. The Women-Centric Challenges addresses the major issues faced by the women from all the spheres of life. These include driving women hygiene through innovation, innovations to improve women's safety, professional networking, opportunities for women, innovations that make working mothers' life better and easier, the life of rural women. The Ayog highlighted that the ANIC aims to seek, select, support, and nurture technology based innovations that solve sectoral challenges of the national importance and societal relevance through a grant based mechanism of up to 1 crore rupees. Center's revised guidelines for compliance for television channels have made it mandatory for them to air content deemed in national and public interest for 30 minutes every day. Channels can broadcast content on education, spread of literacy, agriculture, and rural development, among other themes. The new guidelines reportedly do not apply to the sports channel, which have been exempted. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveiled Statue of Prosperity, the 108 feet tall bronze statue of Nadaprabhu Kempegowda. 98 tons of bronze and 120 tons of steels were used to build the statue, which has been conceptualized by Ram V. Sutar of Statue of Unity fame in Bengaluru this week. Earlier in the day, Mr. Modi inaugurated the Terminal 2 of Kempegowda International Airport in the city. He also flagged off Chennai-Mysore Vande Bharat Express and the Bharat Gaurav Kashi Darshan train at KSR railway station. The Prime Minister reached Bengaluru this morning on a 2-day visit to Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana to launch a series of development projects. Mr. Modi also attended 36th convocation ceremony of the Gandhigram Rural Institute at Dindigul in Tamil Nadu later today. He also inaugurated and laid foundation stone of multiple projects at Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. Later, he visited the RFCL plant in Ramagundam, Telangana. The World Health Organization today published a report highlighting the first ever list of fungal priority pathogens, a catalogue of 19 fungi that represents the greatest threat to public health. The WHO Fungal Priority Pathogens List, that is FPPL, is the first global effort to systematically prioritize fungal pathogens, considering the unmet research and development needs and the perceived public health importance. The World Health Organization FPPL aims to focus and drive further research and policy interventions to strengthen the global response to fungal infection and antifungal resistance. Fungal pathogens are a major threat to public health as they become increasingly common and resistant to the treatment. Only 4 classes of antifungal medicines are currently available, and few candidates in the clinical pipeline. Most fungal pathogens lack rapid and sensitive diagnostics, and those that exist are not widely available or globally affordable. Emerging evidence indicate that the incidence and the geographic range of the fungal infection are both expanding worldwide due to global warming and the increase of international travel and trade. Despite the growing concerns, the fungal infection receive a very little attention and resources, leading to a scarcity of the quality data on fungal disease distribution and antifungal resistance patterns. As a result, the exact burden of fungal diseases and antifungal resistance are unknown and the response is therefore undermined. In a first for the country, India's private defense player Kalyani Strategic Systems has bagged an export order worth $155 million, that is over rupees 1,200 crores, for the artillery gun likely for Saudi Arabia. In a regulatory filing, Bharat Forge, part of the Kalyani Group, said this order is for non-conflict zone. The company also said the order for the 155 RT gun platform is to be executed over a 3-year time period. The company did not specify which artillery system was being exported and what was the quantity. However, industry sources indicated that the order could be from a Middle East nation, Saudi Arabia. It is to note that Saudi Arabia had carried out trials of Bharat Forge Bharat 52, a 155 52 caliber towed howitzer. Sources said the gun underwent trials by the Saudi military in 2020. It was the first artillery gun manufactured by the defense firm and has a range of about 41 kilometers and is capable of firing 6 rounds in 50 seconds. Kalyani Group has multiple variants of the 155 artillery gun, including the advanced towed RT gun called as ATAGS, which has been developed in partnership with the DRDO. The order received by Bharat Forge is the second for India's artillery system. Earlier this year, the country had bagged an order for the Pinaka multi-barrel rocket system from Armenia under the government-to-government route. The Kalyani Group, however, is yet to get an order from the Indian Army for its artillery system. And now for the segment where we see the events that unfolded this week back in history. November 6, 1913, Gandhi is arrested in South Africa. On this day, 109 years ago, Mohandas Gandhi was arrested while leading a march of Indian miners in South Africa. After being released on bail, Gandhi promptly joined the protesters again and was re-arrested. The 8-year struggle finally led to passing of the Indian Relief Act. It was in South Africa that Gandhi became convinced of the invincibility of the properly led satyagraha. He would then take the struggle for human dignity to his homeland. The rest, verily, is history. November 7, 1944, Franklin Roosevelt is elected president for the fourth term. On this day, 78 years ago, US President Franklin Delano Roosevelt was elected for an unprecedented fourth term in the office. By this time, he had led United States out of economic depression and to the brink of victory in the World War II. Loved and loathed in equal measures, he remains the most popular American president after Abraham Lincoln. FDR, the only president to have more than 2 terms, was a leader of his times who left an indelible stamp on American politics. November 10, 1619, René Descartes sees 3 dreams. On this day, 403 years ago, a 23-year-old René Descartes saw the 3 dreams that made him question the nature of reality. He saw ghosts, a church, a dictionary, and a book of poems. Since in his dream he clearly failed to distinguish reality from illusion, he concluded that he could be only sure if one is reality, that he exists. Quod vitae sibector iter. One dream asked, "What path shall I take in life?" was asked. That one night changed the course of modern philosophy. November 11, 1888, Maulana Azad is born. On this day, 134 years ago, Abdul Kalam Ghulam Muhyiddin Ahmad, later known as Maulana Azad, was born. An Islamic scholar, the Maulana plunged into politics during the Khilafat movement. As Muslim separatist movement gained foothold, he stood for the cultural pluralism and later called the partition of India as one of the greatest frauds on the people. After independence, he became India's first Minister of Education and set up the foundations for the future of aspiring millions.
Well, that's all, friends, for this week's updates. See you soon next Sunday on the same channel. Till then, take care. Bye bye.